Noella Bergener passed out in a sweat lodge on Wednesday's episode of The Real Housewives of Orange County and was whisked out by production for treatment. After Noella, 36, said inside the hut during their girls' trip to Mexico that she was feeling dizzy, a producer rushed over and opened the flap of the hut. Noella was vomiting and someone from the production, who appeared to be a medical professional, rushed in and carried her out. Noella was placed on a table and Gina Kirschenheiter, 37, and Emily Simpson, 45, who were in the hut with her rushed to her side. The medical officer gave Noella fluids to drink, put a fan on her and told her to lie down. Emily said later that she didn't know what happened in the sweat lodge but that it was such a surreal experience. "I felt that every trauma, everything that ever hurt me bubbled up and came out," she said in a confessional. Noella had hoped the ceremony would help her get some of the emotion she had bottled up inside her out, but then said she was mortified at what happened. The guide told them to enter the mother's belly of a den and once inside temperatures climbed to 102 degrees. Noella and Emily both cried out from inside the hut that it was really hard. Emily said in a confessional that she never felt such a heaviness of stifling heat. Gina said she was just trying to survive the moment and thought they were going to a spa. Noella said that sadness was coming out of her by force. Noella said she felt dizzy before passing out and Gina spoke out to a crew member named John who she knew could hear them while they were filming and asked for help. Once Noella recovered, she spoke to Emily and Gina about what happened. Noella told them that the spiritual guide cleansed her and she felt better. Emily and Gina went back to the hotel and took naps but later met Noella back on the hotel beach. They let it slip that they were flying back on a private jet with Heather Dubrow. Noella didn't know anything about it and said in a confessional that Heather hadn't spoken to her about any private flight. Gina said she didn't think Heather would mind if Noella flew on her plane. "She didn't even want her to come," said Emily in front of Noella. "You had to talk her into it." Emily asked Noella if she knew that and Noella responded that now she did. Emily said in a confessional that she thought it was important that Noella knew what a good friend Gina was to her. Noella told them that this information was hurting her heart. "To know I was the pity invite like we were in high school," said Noella. Emily and Gina tried to encourage Noella not to share all her sad details of her life with Heather but to first let her get to know her. Noella said in a confessional that she couldn't understand why these women were terrified of Heather. Noella then brought up how Emily mentioned to her about hooking up with the woman and said the night before that if it didn't work out with Shane that she would hook up with Gina. Emily said in a confessional that she thought women were attractive and admitted that maybe she experimented a little while in college. The episode titled Sweat, Lies and Pornography began with the women still having dinner together in Cabo while their men gathered themselves back in Orange County for a dinner. Terry Dubrow, 63, Emily's husband Shane Simpson, Shannon's boyfriend John Jansen, and Gina's boyfriend Travis all enjoyed a dinner together. Terry quizzed John and Travis on their relationships. John said things were great with him and Shannon and that they're totally committed to each other but in no hurry to get married. Travis told them that Gina and him would probably get married before John and Shannon. Back in Mexico, Emily asked Shannon Beater, 57, if she and her boyfriend John were going to have a threesome, who would she bring in, and Shannon said, "We are never going to do it, we have talked about it." Shannon said in a confessional that no one else needed to be in the bedroom and see this nakedness. Shannon told the women that she was in a really good place with John. Gina asked her if she had a plan for their relationship. When Noella interrupted the conversation, Gina got upset that she was trying to dominate the discussion. "I want to exist in a room without becoming the room," Gina said in a confessional. Emily and Gina tried to mediate at the table to keep themselves from getting upset. Noella said in a confessional that Emily and Gina go down 10 IQ points when they are hanging out together. "They are probably on the same cycle," she said. Noella got up from the table and accused them of acting like children. She went over to sit next to Shannon, and Emily and Gina got up and left. Emily told Noella she was being offensive as she walked away. Shannon yelled at them to not leave. Gina tried to explain to Noella why she was upset, but Noella wasn't listening and said to her, "This is what you do?" The next morning, Noella hugged Gina and said, "I effing hate that we fought," and told her she cried about it. She said in a confessional that Gina had said some hurtful things to her. Heather Dubrow, 52, Shannon and Heather's friend Tawny meanwhile went to meet Heather's realtor and architect to look at Mexican homes. The first home they saw was a 26,000 square feet, 7-bedroom, 7-bathroom home with a wraparound infinity pool right on the coast. The home also had a huge library. Heather said in a confessional that she was looking for a home that speaks to her, but that Terry was looking for something that speaks to his wallet. Heather's realtor then took the women to an $8 million lot that overlooked the Sea of Cortez as a possible location for Heather's Mexican house. Jen Armstrong, 44, said in a confessional that she was masking that her leg was causing her some serious pain. Heather called Terry and explained that if they built their 15,000 square foot house on the lot it would cost $15. $5 million total. Jen later went to the gym and FaceTimed her husband Ryan Holiday and told him that her leg had been hurting her since 9 a.m. She said she was having a breakdown. She wanted Ryan to emphasize with her and said in a confessional that she wanted to feel from him that she was loved, protected and important. "I feel completely alone right now," she said before she broke down crying on the treadmill. In the evening, all the women met for a dinner party on the beach. First, they had a tequila tasting on the beach. Noella told them about how she passed out in the sweat lodge and thought she died. Jen said in a confessional that it's not super surprising that Noella passed out in the sweat lodge because she was drinking the night before and in severe emotional distress. "That's not a good combo for a sweat lodge," she said. Jen told Heather that she had a breakdown at the gym. Heather told her to have a conversation with her husband. She told him that she was seeing patients all day. Jen said in a confessional that she recognized what they had to do in their marriage but that they were both so mad at each other. Shannon told Noella that she needed to talk to Gina and Emily about how they walked away from dinner the previous night. Noella said she was all good and there was nothing to discuss. Heather interrupted and said she didn't want this to happen during their last night dinner. Noella said not to tell her what to do and Heather said, "I have no interest." "I found out that I was a pity invite," Noella said to Heather. Heather said that wasn't true and that she didn't want to invite her because she gave her daughter pornography as a gift and I felt uncomfortable. She said the cards were very inappropriate. Noella yelled that it was just a card deck that she purchased on Amazon. Heather said it was inappropriate for a 17-year-old. "Accusing me of giving your teenage daughter pornography, this is a whole new low even for you," said Noella in a confessional. Gina said that Heather is allowed to feel the way she feels and that she should just tell her that she was sorry. "You want to start problems with me," said Heather to Noella. The women encouraged Noella to apologize. Noella said to Heather that she didn't mean to upset her straight fragility. Heather said, "I have a couple of gay children, don't tell me that I have straight fragility. I am a bisexual biracial liberal freaking woman who lives in Orange County, don't you dare tell me that I'm inappropriate," said Noella. Heather said she wasn't saying that she was inappropriate but she was saying that her gift was. "I'm assuming that you didn't look at the cards," said Heather. Heather then read to her some of the cards. Noella was shocked and admitted that the cards were insanely inappropriate. "I am horrified," Noella said before adding that she was sorry and then asked, "Are we done?" The Real Housewives of Orange County will return next Wednesday on Bravo.